So what we want to talk about today is how to use what's called the STAR method of revision. And it's a method that we use to go back and look at our writing and decide of what ideas do we like and what ideas do we not like. In other words, how do we change what we have even when we like what we So one of the first things I want you to do is I want you to go to that first body paragraph of your Warriors Don't Cry essay. And I want you to pause this video and I want you to take a few moments and just on your own without my help revise that first body paragraph. So take a moment, stop the video now, and in terms of skipping a heartbeat, I want you to think about what was it that you are going to do. So go look at it and revise it. Notice how I have the phrase skipping a heartbeat as we pick back up now that you've paused the video. Because if you haven't paused the video, you really didn't complete the assignment just yet. But after pausing the video, you probably just went back through your material, and I bet you that you just made some minor changes. Maybe put a period in, capitalized a few things. Maybe put a word or a phrase that you want to put in. I call that skipping a heartbeat because that's not revision. That's not editing either. All you did was make a little bit of a change. All you did was add in a few little pieces of grammar. You probably didn't edit and revise. So the question becomes, what is editing? I'm going to take a look at this one. There's what we call surface revision and then deep revision. So if you've ever seen any of these extreme makeover shows, one of the first things they show you is the before picture of the house. So for instance, you might see a ranch of a house and the front door is dilapidated. The yard looks very crummy. You go inside the house and it's old appliances. If we were going to say, let's revise that house, and we wanted to put it back onto the market, changing the front door isn't going to be enough. For someone to go into that house and really do a makeover, they're going to have to change a lot of things. That's exactly what we want to do with our essay. So taking a look at this, surface revision means all I need to do is paint the house a different color. Deep revision is going to that next step. So when we look at this one, I'm going to give you an example of a car for surface revision versus deep revision. Let's say I bought a car and I want to make some changes to it. Surface revision is what we see on the left-hand side here. These are some small things I could do that would just minorly improve it. I could give the car a new paint job. I could reupholster the ceiling lining. Well, I could even replace the tires. And ultimately, yeah, the car will look a little bit nicer, but it's not that much of a difference. Deep level improvements, which would really change the car, would be ripping out the back seats and replacing them with a movie projector screen, putting in a more powerful engine in the car, and then outfitting the car with hydraulics, which would improve the way it drives. Why would that be important? Think about the difference in the car now. One, I have a car that maybe looks nice, and then ultimately if I do the deep revisions, I really have a car that's not only going to look nice, but drive really well. So when we talk about surface revision versus deep revision, I want you to think about your essay. In that example where I asked you to go back and to make some edits to your paper, I bet you probably changed a word, maybe you changed a phrase, maybe you even changed a sentence. But I want you to make deep level improvements. I want you to change perhaps the focus of the piece. Maybe you had too many ideas in that paragraph. Maybe you need to change the purpose, or perhaps change the sequence. Perhaps even, looking at it now, you need to change the point of view. What is it that I want you to do? I want you to think of 4 major ways that you can transform this piece of writing. Major ways are what we call STAR, and the S stands for substituting, the T stands for taking things out, the A stands for adding things, and the R stands for rearranging. Well, let's break this down. When I say the word substitute, I want you to go back through the paragraph and I want you to find all the times you use one word over and over and over and over and over again. That's called overused. How many times do you use the word discrimination, for instance? Or if you're trying to make the point about persistence, how many times do you say it? Are you overusing the words? Look for weak verbs, and I want you to replace them, substitute them, with strong verbs. Look for weak adjectives, like the word big, and ask yourself, how can we show that with strong adjectives, like colossal? Look for common nouns like car, bus, house, and ask yourself, can I replace it with proper nouns? And then lastly, look for the dead words. And dead words reply to words like said and tell. How can you show how someone is saying something, for instance, versus using that word over and over again? So substitute would be the first thing I do in the letter S. What words, what places can I substitute? Back through my piece and I'd ask myself, what can I take out? What don't I need? Is there anything I repeat over and over again that isn't necessary and isn't helping my topic? What are some unimportant or irrelevant information? Do I go off on a tangent when I'm supposed to talk about Grandma India and instead talk all about Link? What are some parts that maybe belong in another paragraph? And rather than trying to fill up this paragraph, maybe I need to move them and then I can focus better on that one paragraph. So what parts might belong in another piece? So I look for what I can take out. Now that I've taken things out and I've substituted things, what do I need to add? Honestly, what am I missing? Do I need a better detail or description? Perhaps I need some new information or some figurative language to really show it. What kind of development should I add in here? In other words, how can I clarify my meaning? And can I expand my idea and really elaborate? So in other words, if I just said Link's name, will my reader, if they haven't read the book, know who Link is? Maybe I need to really give an explanation of who he is and what he's doing for Melba. So I look at what I can add. Lastly, in the STAR method, I look for what I can rearrange. Rearrange means maybe I need to change the sequence because it'll come up with a better effect for the reader, a desired effect. In other words, maybe I start off with my weaker reason and I end with my stronger because I really want them to get my point. Or the opposite, maybe I really want to start off strong and pull the reader in with me, so that as my information maybe becomes a little bit weaker, I still leave them with a powerful idea. In other words, what's most logical and how you're explaining it. So this little video over here, this kind of description, this image will help you remember things when you think of STAR. And it really comes down to what can you substitute again, what can you take out, what can you add, and what can you rearrange. So I want you to think about your particular essay. I want you to look at what you've written, and I want you to ask yourself, go back through, what can I substitute? What can I take out? What can I add? And then what can I rearrange? And then ultimately, you will have more to your essay.